renaissance period in a way. Like people might not have noticed it. There's like an indifference to like, kind of what's going on. And they're just having fun, but at the same time, there's big things happening. So.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. It's a little mysterious to me because it's hard to know what to chalk it up to because, like you're saying, the internet is such a huge factor, and I'm not sure if more people are really making more art, more music, you know, if that's indeed the case, or if it's just that there's more exposure to it, and now we know. We hear about some random kid making music in North Carolina or whatever, and it's like blows up in a week. Because, like, I don't know, I know a fair amount of music from friends and peers and stuff that just kind of goes under the radar and disappears.
Yeah.
And especially, like, let's say, even 5 years ago, that's been happening. And, yeah, it just gets caught under everything else.
Yeah, because it's just too much. Like, I mean, that's like why we're kind of trying to do like with the music publication we're doing for Rome Break. We're trying to like just like not like bash anything, like because everything just kind of like have people talk about what they like. Right. And like in a little bit, if you're down for it, we're doing this new series called Musicians on Musicians. We just talk about music you kind of grew up listening to, and then like what you're currently like really into and all that. So,
sure.
But I mean, like, yeah, it's so sad when you like get into a band and then like they just break up because they can't do it anymore, they can't afford it, and like it's just sad. But it's just,
I mean that is what's interesting about the fact that we're in this huge, recession, and there's more bands than ever. It seems like. But I mean that makes me weary of that. Observation, because it just seems a little unrealistic. I think there's always been a lot of bands. It's just now you hear about them a little more.
And there's so many means of kind of getting media information. So, like, even like Twitter, kind of like when it first came out, I kind of like scoffed at it. It was like this weird, like, oh great, it's just Facebook updates for everyone. And then it kind of turned in, like, when you look at it from like a business end or something like that, or a promotional end, it's like a really brilliant. You could do a lot of the cool like contests or really interactive things, because I feel like that's kind of missing in some respect, like in person, is like you're losing that like I guess social drive, and then like online everyone is like so like open and doesn't care about like there's no filter,
Right.
But in person everyone has like, their filter on. It's kind of like a weird like just thing to exist for us to like be unfiltered in. So
yeah, no, I had the same relationship to Twitter, some of the other social media things. But yeah, I think that it's pretty special to have something that, the New York Times has a Twitter, and they can post their headline, which went through a machine of people and, editors and such, and it was like decided that's the headline. But then there's a million other people on there who have the, equal say, basically, and can either repost that or comment on it or do anything. And I found like the trending topics on there are really interesting in that. I mean, a lot of it's just stupid shit, but it's strange to see what things can get picked up just by like something that resonates with young people or people that are using technology for some reason.
Yeah, it's like all these people kind of playing together almost, because like you see someone that's like, I have never been so angry when, or something like, and then they write like these, so it's kind of like certain hours though. It's really like the morning hours, I guess, are like really interesting ones, because it's just like people like can't sleep bored just like twittering around.
Yeah, I mean that's just like the ultimate performance art piece too, like having someone where everyone can interact with it, or throwing something into the world that everyone can interact with, and all of a sudden you have a million responses.
But that's like, what did you grow up listening to? Like, what do you remember as just being very present in your life when you were a kid?
Well, I grew up with like my parents' music, which was kind of like was good stuff, but it was like the tip of the iceberg. So it was like a couple Beatles albums, like Greatest Hits and Greatest Hits of Beach Boys, and like Graceland, Paul Simon, and that I always liked that stuff, but I kind of I didn't feel the urge to go deeper when I was younger. It was just kind of like you listen to what's presented to you, But I get, for one reason or another, like years down the line, I just got really excited about that music. I can't even remember why, and like went and dug those up, and then from there just went and like bought every record. So went and bought every Beatles record, every Neil Young record, and every Dylan record, and all that stuff. So yeah, it's like I grew up on mostly the 60s and 70s stuff.
And then, like now, like what is kind of like how has that, I guess, influenced the stuff you got into like currently, and like what like is that?
Yeah, I mean, now I just kind of listen to everything. I haven't turned my back on any of that stuff. I still love it all, obviously, and but it's just sort of like I spend a fair amount of time listening to that stuff exclusively and like not kind of shunning newer music, and it was just really limiting. And once I got over that, it's kind of expanded all the time. So it's like it's become everything. I listen to tons of different kinds of music.
Like anything in particular that kind of sticks out?
What do you, in what category?
Whatever,
New music?
whatever kind of is on your mind. I'm like the same way, but I have this like, I like listen to like I've been listening to like Russian folk music lately, just because it's like, sweet, like all those instruments just like going nuts. Like I just love hearing like mixes, like weird, just mixed up instrumental stuff, because it's just something you don't hear that much anymore. You know, like with indie and like pop, there's like a kind of certain like generic line that runs through it, and then there's exceptions. But so it's nice to like mix things up. But yeah, like I mean, what are you listening today, like on the ride?
Let's see. Well, yeah, on the ride we've been listening to the XX album, which is a new one. What else do we listen to? Ariel Pink, which is an Ariel Pink and the Haunted Graffiti, which is like a new album as well.
A lot of new albums listening to?
No, not all the time. I mean, those were two. I'm trying to think beyond. Pulled out Big Star albums and I listened to those when Alex Chilton passed away. Although I listen to those all the time. What else?
Yeah, I actually can't believe I've never like had a chance to listen to Big Star before that. Like my friend told me like when that happened, I was like, ooh, he's like, are you serious? I'm like, he gave me an album, and I was just like, okay, like this is pretty sweet. I gotta get more of it though.
It's always kind of bittersweet when that happens, you know?
Yeah.
It sucks that he had to pass away for that to happen, but it's also cool that all these people are tuned on to his music, because it is really amazing.
Yeah, like it's like I mean, this is kind of a little different, but like Robert Johnson, for instance, like the whole story behind his death and everything is like the reason he's still kind of in like pop.
Yeah,
like it's
kind of mythical.
Yeah, that is like the only story I hear about someone selling their soul to the devil that I kind of believe. Like, because like, do you remember like the story Son House they told? Like some journalist basically saying, like, yeah, we used to play with him and he would like clear out a room with his guitar playing, and then he just left, came back in a month and like blew me away. Like I couldn't, like something was wrong. Something was like off because he was so good. Like one man, one guitar, just like killing it. So, but yeah, man, well, thanks again for doing this.
Yeah, anytime.